I feel really happy when I'm creative, but what I do causes shame for somebody else. So I think the moral of the story is, in terms of emotional declutters, is stop living your life by other people's standards, other people's expectations. Hey there, my handsome and pretty little Cobras, and welcome back to the Cobra's Nest. So today's video is going to be one about emotional declutters. I think decluttering your material possessions is great, but I think it's also important to have emotional declutters. So one of them that I wanted to talk about is kind of like decluttering other people's expectations for your life. That's something that I've been recently struggling with, and I figured that if it's something I've struggled with, I think it can help somebody else out. Let's get ready to the video. Let's get it. Let's go. Woo! So the thing that I've been kind of struggling with, for those of you who are new, I graduated from dental school. Obviously, you still need to pass the board to become like a certified dentist. So technically, I have my papers. I am what's known as like an empty dentist. I'm not a practicing dentist. I have the degree, but I don't have the license, at least to be able to practice in Canada. And the reason for that, full disclaimer or disclosure, not that anybody cares, yeah, I finished paying off the student loans, the student debt. And then in order to pass like the board, long story short, I was gonna have to spend like another $100,000. And I was like, I just finished paying off my student loans. So I was just like, at the time, it was just like non-stop, and I was like, I kind of wanted to like live my life. I had never really lived my life. I just studied, became a teacher, worked, and then went to medical school. So it's just kind of like, I kind of wanted to live my life. I kind of wanted to experience what it'd be like to live a life. So anyway, fast forward now, I've been out, COVID also stalled my graduating. I finally graduated last year. It's been a year of me having my papers. So I kind of gave myself a year to decide if I wanted to go back and pursue my license. Anyway, long story short, talking with like certain family members, they were kind of like, not really disappointed, but they were kind of like, you should still finish it. And I think maybe this is something I haven't really addressed even on my channel. I had one subscriber once ask me still, like, are you still, like, what's going on with the dental thing? Yeah, it had been on pause for a really long time. I was supposed to graduate in 2020, so I think that gives everybody kind of the answer. Yeah, 2020 really derailed my life. I don't know if I could call it that. I think maybe from an outsider's perspective, it looks like it's derailed, but the truth is, it's actually the best thing that ever happened to me. I actually now run my own online business. So anyway, the point being is, I have really had to struggle with this idea that like for them, it's just like not good enough that I may not continue dentistry. It's like, and I asked, is it like a face thing? Is it like a mienzi? Is it like you feel like ashamed that I didn't finish? Because like I don't feel ashamed. I finished. I have the papers. That's enough for me. I run my own business. Like I literally, it's not even I have a good job. Like I am my own boss. Like at the end of the day, like I have what I was looking for. But sometimes I wonder, is it enough for somebody else? Like is somebody else's dream not being accomplished here? Because for me, pursuing dentistry was something that was my father's dream. My dad wanted me to go on and pursue medicine, go on to become a doctor, dentist, doctor, same. And like, that was what he wanted. I applied, one of the programs that I applied to is I applied to fashion and design at one of the local universities near my house. Like I wanted to do something creative, something artsy. Yeah, it doesn't pay a lot, but I feel like I'm finally in a place where I'm having my cake and I can eat it too. Like I'm creative, making good money on the side. Not even on the side, I'm making good money as a full-time job. And on the side, I get to be creative with my YouTube channel. And among the conversation with like these family members, it was like they felt sorry for me that the things were not good, that I was still trying to make it like on YouTube, and like that's just so like they felt bad for me. But if I went back to dentistry and completed it, I would finally not have to do YouTube stuff. They were talking about like me doing YouTubing as like something that was shameful. And I thought it was really interesting because I was like, I feel really happy when I'm creative, but what I do causes shame for somebody else. And normally this might have been like something really deep rooted, something that as a child I might have internalized, or even just like as a young adult I would have internalized. But one of the good things about minimalism is kind of letting people or accepting people in their reality, their personal struggles that they have, whether like they have unmet needs. Those are things that they need to work on. That's not my responsibility. That's not my responsibility to make somebody else feel like they're living their best life. Like I understand that like parents want the best for you, and parents want to feel a certain kind of accomplishment or success vicariously through their children. I don't agree with that. I don't think that that's healthy. I think that each individual is responsible in their own way, but I know that a lot of people are born into certain circumstances, so the best way that they can do it is through their children, because their children's head start is completely different from their own. So because of that, I totally have compassion and sympathy, but at the same time, I need to be strong, because I'm not gonna lie, it really depressed me after I had that conversation. I felt really ashamed that what I was doing was making somebody else unhappy. So it was like, where do I draw the line? Like, how can I make them happy? But at the same time, I still need to be selfish and take care of my needs. So what I'm trying to talk about is realizing that you don't have to live your life for somebody else. You are an autonomous being, and while it may be very painful or extremely painful, there comes a point where you need to learn to put your foot down and say, this is what makes me happy, this is what's important to me, and I'm sorry that that isn't something that works for you, but that's something that I need to do. Especially because if this conversation is being had, it's between two adults. I think that's one of the more important things. And it's really interesting because sometimes you just have to leave people in their realities. Like me trying to change somebody else's perspective or arguing with somebody else, like, no, this is how it should be, it's just pointless. It's like, it's truly pointless. They want it one way, I want it one way. It's like, it's not gonna pan out very well. And this kind of brings me to like another point in terms of something else that I find is also really interesting, that sometimes I've just kind of realized that sometimes when people try to tell you how to live your life, I sometimes think, is that a pain point for them? Are they coming to me from a place of pain? Because if I was good, like I was really happy with my life, I wouldn't be telling, say, a homeless person, hey, listen, you get up, man, like do what you like, I'd be like, no, I would just have compassion for that person, and that would be that. Like, I wouldn't be thinking anything of it. But I think that if you weren't really good with yourself, you would definitely start to critique and criticize and like, nah. And I think that because I have a close friend who recently had a baby, and even when she was pregnant and now that she's having the baby, is still like really like, okay, so like, when is yours? And we already had a conversation. Like, I've already told her, I'm not having kids. Like, I love that for you, and like, I'm really happy. And every time we mention children, it's like, so when are you having yours? I sometimes think maybe I'm just gonna brush it off, maybe she's just making a joke about it, but I feel like I've already told you, and like I've already told you many times. So I just kind of accepted that this is a pain point for her. Or yeah, because it's like, if you had kids and you were happy and you thought it was a wonderful experience, and somebody else didn't want to have kids, you'd be like, oh, it sucks for you then. Like, yeah, you're missing out. Like if I had $1 million and somebody else was like, no, I don't want to also make $1 million, I'm like, that's fine, bro. Like, don't. Like, I'm good. You don't have to. So I think that when people try to tell you what to do or this or that, and they may argue it's for your well-being, I personally don't agree with that. I don't think that that's true. I think that human nature doesn't operate like that. I really do believe in the idea of misery loves company, because so many times after the fact, I find out this, that, and the third, and this is how they really felt, and this is why they blah, 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 blah. And it's like, yeah, I kind of knew. When you kept telling me and I kept telling you no, I already knew this was coming from a pain point. So I think the moral of the story is, in terms of emotional declutters, is stop living your life by other people's standards, other people's expectations. And this is really hard, especially when they're close. Like, whether it's like your best friend or like a parent, it's extremely difficult. Like, yeah, this is really easy if it's like a coworker or someone you're not that close to. And the funny thing is they are not the ones who are going to do this to you. It's actually going to be close ones. So the life advice that I'm giving is, don't live your life by their standards. Because let's examine that. Let's unpack that for a quick sec. Let's say, just to maintain the peace, you decide to do what they want. Let's just say, right? So you do it, and now you're unhappy, and now you resent them. Did that really fix the relationship between the two of you? No. And even if you did keep on putting a face, you inside know how much you resent that person for doing what they want. And some of these decisions, especially these harder decisions, they have heavy consequences. Let's say I had a kid and I really didn't want a kid. Is that fair to me? Is that even fair to the kid to know that mommy only had you because my friends told me to have you? What kind of freaking logic is that? No, I would want to bring a kid into this world because it's like, mommy wanted to have you, and mommy loves you, and mommy thinks you're precious. Like, sometimes we got to think a little. These decisions are major, or even the dental thing. Let's just say I did, scrape together another 100K and push myself through the dental boarding exam only to come out the other end and hate it. And I wasn't even that crazy about dentistry when I was in the program. Like, it was like, especially when I was doing like clinic, I was like, I don't know how people do this for like decades. There's a reason dentists have high suicide rates. Obviously, the whole point of this video is to not, criticize a dental career, but it's just kind of to illustrate that there's a reason that it's a job. It may pay a lot, but sometimes it gets a point where you kind of have to question and ask, what is the point of all of this? And I've decided for me, I want to be successful, and I think that's part of success. The difference between success and very successful people is that very successful people say no to almost everything. And so I think part of my success is putting my foot down and being like, I already bled 70K on dental school. I'm good. Like, I don't need to spend and waste another 100K, another 5 years on the boarding thing. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to continue working and growing my business. Like, I got a good thing going on here. I don't need to have 2 feet in 2 boat. Like, it's unnecessary. So the reason that I'm saying all of this is hopefully that this can help somebody else out, because I know that these things are not easy and it's something that I'm going through, and I just think that if it could help anybody else out, fantastic, because I feel so much peace. I'm really strong in putting my foot down. When people say this and that and you should this and that, I just think, why? I already told you no. And I'm going to stick to my no, because I have people pleased in the past and it never served me. I used to people please my best friend. Didn't pay off. In the end, she didn't even really like me. And I don't think anybody likes people who just bend over backwards. We like people who put our foot down and say, no, I'm not interested. I'm just going to leave you in your reality and I'm going to go live mine. So I hope that this could have entertained or helped anybody else out. And remember, you guys are important. Your life is important and you deserve to live your life just the way that you want to. Thank you for watching. Bye.